This little guy is celebrating 10 years. 10 years old. I know a lot of people love it. I know there are many fans of it. And you know, there are the haters out there as well. It's a very, to me, it's a polarizing fragrance. I can see that, you know, it's kind of like lots of haters, lots of lovers of it. I'm a fan of it. I'm not like obsessed with it, but I am a fan of this fragrance. So today I'm going to tell you about Creed's Aventus 10-year anniversary. I'm going to show you the 10-year anniversary edition bottle today. And also I thought, you know what, might as well cover it in this video. I'm going to talk to you about 5, maybe 6 Aventus Killers. So if you want to find out about Creed's Aventus 10 years anniversary and also learn about the Creed Aventus Killers, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. That's right, we're talking about Creed's Aventus. Now I have a 120 ml bottle here. It's one of my bottles that I think I should cherish, although as you can see it's got not full, so I'm kind of cherishing this one and not using it up as much. But they have celebrating, or they're celebrating 10 years now. And you know, it's funny that there are several fragrances that are celebrating 10 years, and I did a video a few days ago. If you haven't caught that, please do, which I featured Creed's Aventus in that video, and also featured a few other fragrances. In fact, yesterday there was a video on a fragrance that also was celebrating 10 years. But today it's all about Creed's Aventus, and as I said, I'll talk to you about this fragrance, what I think about it, my first experience with it, also show you this beautiful 10-year anniversary limited edition fragrance, and then offer up some Creed's Aventus Killers. But before I get to all that, if this is your first time tuning into my channel and you still haven't subscribed to the channel, please click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. So right off the bat, I'm going to go ahead and ask you, how many of you are fans of Creed's Aventus? How many of you are not fans of Creed's Aventus? Put a comment down, let me find out. I would love to know. Again, I think this is a polarizing fragrance. Judging from comments I receive, they're very, very like dramatic comments. It's either like, oh my god, it's the best fragrance I've ever had, and it's to the other end, oh my god, it's the worst fragrance. People stop talking about it. So there's very dramatic reaction to this fragrance. What do you guys think about it? So for me, I guess I discovered it early on in my journey on a previous channel. Maybe around 2012, early 2013, I started doing videos on clones of Creed's Aventus. And at that time there weren't many clones. Insurrection Pure was one of the clones, and I put together like a video of 5 different clones, and I called it Aventus Killers. Sadly, that channel is no longer, obviously. So I'm going to offer some Aventus Killers for you today. They're not going to be the cheapies, obviously. There's going to be a collection of different price categories. And also I'm going to tell you a few that might kind of hint at it, but not smelling identical. So that's coming right up. But for me, was it a love at first sniff? When I first got into the journey of appreciating perfumery, this was not something I was like, oh my god, that's the best fragrance, because it was already stuff that I had already smelled similar to this. So it wasn't like something I was gravitating towards and really enjoying. But the fragrance grew on me because the fact that I sample so many fragrances, your nose gets burnt out and you want something a little fresh and not overwhelming, to where the times you're not testing out or wearing really heavy fragrances. And that's kind of why I like this one, and it's mentioned in my 10-year anniversary video of fragrances. This is kind of a dumb reach fragrance for me, because in the end I don't have to think about what I'm wearing. I can just grab it and wear it and you know, smell great. And you know, it garners compliments. It is a crowd pleaser, sadly not these days, but the times I was wearing it or have worn it when we didn't have a pandemic. So I felt like that's the reason why I have this fragrance. It does smell great, especially when it blends with your chemistry. Like when you leave a trail, or when somebody leaves a trail wearing this fragrance or something similar, or a clone of this, it does smell great. You know, you kind of chase them down to find out what they're wearing, and then a lot of times they say it's you know, this or a clone of it or something like that. So it's a great smelling fragrance, I think. Currently, 100 ml sells for $435. On the Creed Boutique website, it says it's a fruity, rich fragrance, but of course, as I was mentioning on the video a few days ago of the 10-year anniversary fragrances, Fragrantica calls it a fruity Chypre, and I think they're calling it a fruity Chypre because it has the Oakmoss in the base. So 100 ml, 435. Again, the 120 ml bottles are no longer. I wish they kept the 120 ml bottles. I just love these bottles more. You get more juice. I feel like they did something wrong with that particular scenario of changing the sizes. I just like the extra juice and almost fitting, you know, 100 ml bottles. So it doesn't really, it's not much bigger than the original bottle, all that good stuff. But this fragrance is known for the pineapple, but in the notes taken from Creed Boutique website, it's bergamot, blackcurrant leaves, apple, pineapple in the heart, pinkberries, which I'm assuming is pink pepper, birch, patchouli, jasmine. In the base notes you got musk, oakmoss, ambergris, and vanilla. So that's all about this. Let me show you the anniversary edition. I've received it. Now, I've never received a single fragrance from Creed whatsoever. Never have ever received a whole fragrance. So this was sent to me, and they said you don't have to do anything about it, and I told them I will do a video about it eventually because I was planning out my 10-year anniversary fragrance videos. Now, in the past I have received samples from them, but not a lot. I think the only sample I really got from them was Viking, so which I did a video on. But this was actually a whole fragrance I received. It came in this box, and now we're doing the sort of unboxing and kind of explaining about this fragrance. So 10-year anniversary bottle. There's a big old form in here explaining everything about this fragrance, and the fragrance is it's you know it's in a luxury box. It's a little dusty. I haven't really opened it up yet. I haven't even taken it out to look at it. I know what Aventus smells like. I kept it in. So sadly my box is a little dusty and a little smudgy, but it comes in a very beautiful box. I mean, this is amazing. I guess what I'm going to do is not use this fragrance. I'm going to keep it because I like collecting once in a while, and I don't have anything like this from Creed, so it's a nice one to have. So the fragrance basically fits right there like that. So it is a dark bottle. It's a different colored bottle, and you know, I don't want that to fall. So it does match their current bottles. As you can see, they're completely different. But I like black bottles, and I like the whole 10-year anniversary deal. And thank you, Creed, for sending me this fragrance, even though I have a bottle, obviously. And we can smell it. I don't think there's a difference in the smells, but I'll spray it once. Personally, a lot of people talk about the batch codes. I don't really focus on those. Obviously, a lot of you guys asked, even though I mentioned it in the video the other day. Batch code issue is a little too much for me. Like, when I first got into this hobby, you don't know how many times people messaged me on Facebook or on YouTube. Can you tell me about the batch code of this, batch code of that, batch code of this, batch code of that? So, interesting, this smells a lot zingier to me. It does smell a little different than my current bottle. Let me spray that. Maybe this bottle is a little old. A little sharper, a little greener, a little woodsier, not so fruity. So maybe it's a batch issue, which I'm not going to get into. But it could also be the fact that it's a fresher bottle. Obviously, it's not been around too long. This, obviously, they haven't been making 120 ml bottles for quite some time. So it could be that this has gotten old a little bit, or it could just be a fruitier batch. Here I am talking about batches, and I don't like to talk about them. But, you know, I appreciate the fact that they sent this to me. It'll be a great collector's item. I did spray it, obviously, but I won't be using it. I love the bottle. The color of the bottle is great. And it's great that they're celebrating 10 years. And according to my sales associates at Neiman Marcus, this is before pandemic, they used to tell me that Creed's Aventus is the most selling, the biggest selling fragrance in all of Neiman Marcus's I guess stores across the USA. So I don't know how true that is now, but it could have changed with Baccarat Rouge, because Baccarat Rouge has become one of the most copied fragrances next to you know, Creed's Aventus. So anyway, those are my thoughts on this. I think it's a great looking bottle. It's nice to display it, but I think I'm going to keep it in the box. I have some little collection items that are available that I have here as fragrances go, and I think since this is all dark, it could stay really nicely in the studio, and you know, just to display and to show people that want to look through my collection, because I do have friends come occasionally and look through my collection. Anyway, those are my thoughts on this. Have you guys tested it out? Because I recently went to Neiman Marcus here, and they did have the bottles there. So it is limited edition, and 100 ml bottle is $4.35. And I guess the 100 ml bottle, $4.35, is either for the limited edition or the non-limited edition, because the Aventus Boutique, or Creed Boutique, not Aventus Boutique, Creed Boutique online said it's $4.35 for the limited edition. Now, Creed on Neiman Marcus didn't have on their website listed the limited edition, but the regular version 100 ml said the same price. So they're not increasing the price. It's not a different smell. It's just a 10-year anniversary edition that whoever is a big fan of this fragrance would want to buy a collectible limited edition bottle, which I can see that. I personally like dark bottles better because they kind of keep the juice in, and it doesn't expose to light. And you know, when it exposes to light, and obviously the juice gets ruined faster. Of course, you know, also comes into play the heat and all that kind of stuff as well. But in general, I prefer dark bottles because they keep the juice safer for me. Anyway, so those are my thoughts on that fragrance, and I was going to tell you about some Aventus Killers, and we can start off right off the bat with Aventus Cologne. And so here it is. Aventus Cologne came out last year. Was it last year or the year before? I can't remember now. But Aventus is copying their own fragrance. I think because there's so many people copying Aventus, and it's just one of the most copied and cloned fragrances ever. I mean, it's a successful fragrance, and people or brands or clone houses see that and they copy it. So I think what Creed wanted to do, this is my idea or thoughts, I'm not 100% sure this is the reason, is to kind of generate more income. So they created a flanker of Aventus. And usually brands do that. When a fragrance is successful, they do make versions of it. And obviously this is the first version of it. Of course, they made the Aventus for Her several years ago, like 2016 or 2015. But this is the men's flanker Aventus Cologne. And what does Aventus Cologne have any difference with the original? For me, it's a fresher fragrance. It doesn't have the depth. And even though the original Creed Aventus is fresh and a freshie, this one has more of a lighter experience. It doesn't necessarily mean it's like a wimp or something. It's just has a cologne-esque quality to it, but pretty darn good lasting power. I'd say about 5 to 6 hours for this one. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more. I'm just giving you an average length of time. Fresh fragrances don't last as long on me. Amberier fragrances do, but this one, in comparison to the original Creed Aventus, doesn't last as long. And it is a lighter experience, but I like what I get with this one. It's slightly greener, slightly woodier, and lots of fresher. It's a very, very fresh take on the original. So in the end, if you want something to replace your Creed Aventus and you want to stick with Creed as a brand, this would be it. I don't have Creed's Aventus for Her here, and I feel like it's a fruitier version of Aventus. So it says of Aventus for Her, but I feel like I think it could be worn by men. It's fruits in the end. It's just a fruitier version, maybe some flowers as well. So in the end, I feel like it's okay for men to wear as well. If you like it, wear it. But if you like fruity fragrances, check it out. But this is the first Aventus Killer. Of course, it's in the family of Creed. But the second one I'm going to talk to you about is Nishane's Hacivat. So for me, Nishane's Hacivat is an overdose of this particular style in a concentrated version. It's Extrait de Parfum, so it's really thick, dense experience of Aventus. But you know, I don't think it's Aventus in the end. It's that style more than just you know, a flat out Aventus Killer. I think I would call it an Aventus Killer for sure, because if you like that style and you want the more potent variety of it, Hacivat will do. But I also feel like it's an overdose of Oakmoss, and it's an overdose of woods, and the fruits come in for sure. There's fruits in here, but everything else is taking over. It's so strong. Don't spray it before you go to a restaurant to have dinner, because all you're going to smell is Hacivat. It's that strong. I mean, whereas when I spray something like this, or even the original, and go to a restaurant, it's fine. But this one is so potent. Even 2 sprays is going to kind of like ruin your taste buds of food, because it's going to be kind of like mixed with your fragrance. But I really love this version. I think it's my favorite out of all the ones I'm going to talk to you about, except for the last one, which in the end is actually sort of in the ballpark, but it's a completely different fragrance. Either way, Nishane Hacivat, it is a pricey fragrance. 100 ml goes for 300 something, I think. So it's probably cheaper than Creed's Aventus even, but I'm not 100% on the price on this one, but it's fantastic. If you don't know it, check it out. That's Hacivat. Going to the house of ZARA, this is the cheapie. This is Vibrant Leather. So Vibrant Leather is a great cheap alternative. I mean, a lot of people, or some people had mentioned in the video a few days ago, they said, oh, Creed's Aventus is so expensive, I can just buy any of the clones and I'll be happy with it. Which, I can see that. I mean, I can totally see that. People will do that because sometimes those inexpensive versions do smell almost identical, and that's why I did that video back in 2013 called Aventus Killers on my old channel, because there are clones that are much cheaper than what Creed's Aventus costs. But here, I don't think it has the performance of the original Creed Aventus, but smell-wise, it's I mean, it's really close. It's a very close smell. The other thing I want to say about this is, it doesn't last as long, but it's so cheap. It's a 120 ml bottle. It's really like $30, I think, somewhere around there. So if it's not lasting long, just take a decant with you, or have 2 bottles. For 60 bucks, you get 240 mils of juice. You can keep one at the office. You can keep one in the house or in the car or whatever, and spray and replenish. That's how great something like this would be. And that's what I like about ZARA's fragrances. I don't like the inconsistency of finding them, although they've gotten a lot better recently. But if you like a good clone, I think ZARA is a great house for clones. And I'm not a big promoter of clones on this channel, even though ZARA's I consider more as a the clothing designer clone house. I don't really want to, you know, like push like strict clone houses that do nothing but clones. And again, ZARA does a lot of clone-ish kind of fragrances, but then again, I find this one to be pleasant enough for people to wear. If you're on a budget, I think this will definitely work. So that's ZARA's Vibrant Leather. Now next I have one from MONTBLANC called Explorer. Now, I know there's some issues with MONTBLANC fragrances and Creed fragrances that I'm not going to get into. And I had done a video on this fragrance, and I was complaining about the fact that there are so many, you know, remakes of this fragrance, Aventus. A lot of you got pissed off at me that I shouldn't do something like that, because let MONTBLANC copy Creed's Aventus. Well, I wasn't complaining about the fact that it's a bad fragrance. I was complaining about the fact that there's too many. Too many. Come up with something original is what I was trying to say. But yeah, I could see that. It's a good alternative for Creed's Aventus. If you find this and you like the smell, wear it. I mean, I'm not going to say don't wear it. But in the end, my idea in that video was the fact that there's just way too many clones out there already. Do we need one from a house that supposedly releasing original fragrances? But this one comes really close to the Creed Aventus as well. So that's MONTBLANC's Explorer. Let me know if you're fans of the fragrances I've talked to you about today. And what about this one? CEDRAT Boise from the house of MANCERA. Any fans of this one? So in the end, all these fragrances that are alternatives to Creed Aventus, they're not identical. I mean, they come close, and they're great alternatives. And, you know, this MANCERA and MONT seem to like to, you know, do inspired fragrances or clones even. And this one in the end sort of reminds me of you know, the Creeds Aventus, but then it doesn't. There's some differences with the fragrance, and I like that about it. Is it a great alternative? Yes, it can be. Can you afford it? It does go on sale. There's deals available for it. It could go down to around 100. It's a 120 ml bottle, so it could be worth it for you. But I've been lately hearing a lot about the fact that this doesn't last anymore. They've reformulated it or something. I don't know what happens with people complaining about fragrances do not last. I think a lot of times noses can get fatigued, and you know, you have to keep spraying more to make things last longer. There is that issue, but there are issues with reformulations as well. So I don't really know, but I find that CEDRAT BOISE is a great alternative to Creeds Aventus. And if you are looking for a slightly fruitier, I think this is a fruitier, and I personally prefer the fruitier versions of Creed fragrances, not the woody, dark, smoky versions of Creeds Aventus. And that's one of the reasons why I don't like to get into the discussion of you know, the batch codes, because that's what people highlight is like, oh, this one's the smokier, this one's the woodier, this one's the fruitier. Anyway, that's CEDRAT BOISE. So those are the fragrances I want to talk to you about today. And I want to also highlight one fragrance from a house called Goldfield and Banks, and their fragrance Bohemian Lime. Now this doesn't smell like Creeds Aventus, but I feel like it's kind of a Creeds Aventus. Does that make sense? With different fruits. There's really something unique about this one that, for me, I wear it and it acts like I'm wearing a Creeds Aventus, but a different take on it. And with this one, it's using finger lime from Australia. And so this fruit, it's a citrus fruit, it's very, very funky looking fruit, has a very zingy ginger ale like quality. And in my video I mentioned that it reminded me of a drink called Moscow Mule. So there's ginger in here, of course. It does have light green, slight minty aromatic touches, and of course Moscow Mule is made with mint and ginger. So this to me is not like a dupe of Aventus or even inspired by Aventus, but as an end result it acts like something similar to Aventus. Does that make sense to you guys? But a great freshie. If you don't know this one, Bohemian Lime, let me know or check it out, because I think it's a great fresh fragrance. And even though we're going into you know, winter here, come spring and summer, you're gonna love wearing that, and hopefully by next spring and summer we'll be back to normal situation. Anyway, let me know what your thoughts are on these fragrances, and let me know your thoughts on you know, Creed's Aventus 10-year anniversary edition. Have you checked it out? What do you think of the bottle? Are you a fan of Creed's Aventus? Are you a fan of Creed Aventus Cologne, or any of the clones that I spoke about today, or inspired fragrances or alternative fragrances? And anyway, that's the last anniversary video I'm doing on the channel. Stay tuned tomorrow for a video focusing on the synthetic molecule that it's a great one. It's I'm going to tell you the notes in this particular fragrance. It has grapefruit, it has some woodsy notes, and it has lots of ambroxan. So my review tomorrow will have a not worldwide giveaway, but a lot of territories, and it's a review for a fragrance I've been anticipating. So I've been wearing it and really enjoying it, and of course, as I said, it has ambroxan in the notes. Anyway, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please like this video, please share it, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.